Spoilers, obviously. Okay, so last time I tried doing this without a script, and it was a complete mess. I was too close to my microphone. I had a worse microphone somehow, even though this thing is supposed to be garbage that my school was going to throw out at the end of the year last year. Uh, it it was poorly paced, and I stopped and said a lot, and I was so close to the microphone and talking so softly that you can hear every single S sound size made. So, anyways, that doesn't really matter today because I have a ton of organized thoughts about this fan fiction. It's good. Like, I'm here to say that Mr. or Miss Azazel could actually write their own original book if they so chose to, because they actually have the skill to. Skill issue. Anyways, without further ado, fan fiction review episode 2, Alpha and Omega, the Pokemon kind. So anyways, as with tradition, let's start off with the bad. The number one bad thing is that it's an ongoing story. That's not really an actual bad thing. Actually, that's more of a good thing because that means that this story isn't gonna get cut off in the middle of it. It's not gonna get discontinued. However, due to complications in the author's life, it is on an nobody with this kind of stuff, no one really knows how long fan fiction is going to be on hold, but because of the author's life and stuff going on, it's not getting updates anytime soon. However, it still is ongoing, and it's good to know that we aren't going to have this entire universe just abandoned by the author anytime soon. Number 2, the Azazel self-insert. That's a super powerful psychic. It's not really that bad. I mean, yeah, it's a self-insert, and it's kind of cringe the first time you read about it, the first time Azazel shows up. However, Azazel barely shows up at all and doesn't do much to influence the plot at all. I mean, he appeared to show off a couple of one-off villains and a few grunts to heal Column, but other than that, he doesn't really do much. And number 3, plot holes. There are so many plot holes in this thing. That's like the one not objectively, but the one bad thing that actually needs work. There's a gym leader that has Meloetta, and like Torrent is known for being such a tough region. Only the best trainers get into. But then it makes you think, how do they have any normal gym trainers? It's kind of like the Sinnoh anime with trainers being gone for so long, except for trainers being strong enough to have literal legendaries. How does anyone get to the league, especially with the region supposed to be this scary crime-filled area that if a woman even when Miette literally went 3 feet outside of a city, she almost got raped and then got attacked by a pack of Scyther with a leader Scizor that she caught. But still, like, how do we have enough trainers for a league, especially when one of the OCs is a lolly? All right, how does she have enough badges to compete with Ash when he's getting like his 5th or 6th badge? Considering the fact that Torrent is supposed to be this scary region filled with crime and women are not supposed to journey by themselves. I mean, William, OC character that while they're an original character, it's not like, you know, an original character. They're a story character, basically. And William's like, yeah, it's probably good that Ash is traveling with Serena because rape and murder, and it's not really safe to have performing here, even though this is the literal origin of performances in this AU. But it just doesn't make sense how there are enough trainers for a league before Serena got Meloetta, because a gym leader literally has a Meloetta, which, yeah, he only uses it with the best of the best trainers he meets. But when you think about how big that margin is, considering this is a region for the best of the best, because it's so filled with crime and the gyms are so tough, you wonder how they get any trainers at all. We have and then there's just a lolly that's just chilling, and 2 gay dudes that are both twinks to all hell and back with like no muscle whatsoever. And the difficulty of the Torrent region isn't the only plot hole there is. For example, it's a difficult region. If psychics and aura users hate each other so much, and Ash and Serena being both a psychic and an aura user, Serena being a psychic, Ash being an aura user, as per fanfiction trope, probably invented by this very fanfiction, then like, why don't we ever see any of this feuding before we get to the academy? Why doesn't anyone ever mention psychics before Serena awakens to her psychic powers? Like, it's never ever mentioned until we get to Serena awakening to her power, and then the academy for psychics, and then Ash just gets his shit wrecked in there. All the kids in there just decide they want to kill this man, and it's like, okay, what if they're feuding and Ash can barely do anything? Like, imagine what a bunch of psychics can do to aura users, because aura is not at all on it is I don't know how to explain it. Basically, like, there are characters, there are always the overpowered adult characters who aren't the main characters, but they're stronger than the main characters at first before the main characters surpass them. So sit here and tell me that at the beginning aura isn't shit. Like, aura is only used for Ash to talk to his Pokemon, pretty much. Sit here and tell me how aura, being close combat, somehow is able to go toe to toe with psychic, which is psychic. Like, that's your brain, bro. That's a literal Pokemon type. All right, you don't see the aura typing. Like, what? That's not gonna work out in any sort of way. Close combat versus long range, who do you think wins? But somehow they're toe to toe together. But I guess, I don't know. Every universe has its own quirks, and I guess this is less of a plot hole and more of just me nitpicking. Anyways, how about we get on with the good? Alright, so my first good point here is that the Torrent region is a completely original region based off of Spain, complete with research into certain customs and food. For example, I mean, this is kind of an obvious thing, especially if you live... Okay, this is an obvious thing only if you live in countries where you have access to other cultures, especially through the internet. But, hola, words like that, stereotypical. Okay, I don't want to say stereotypical names, but like, the guy who runs performances in this region is named Don Jose. Alright, Jose. Like, come on. The battles and showcases are descriptive for the most part. However, they don't drag on too long. And the words, paragraphs are formatted well enough so that it isn't just a big cluster of words that if you look away for 1.111 seconds, you can no longer find your place, and you have to, like, skim through this giant paragraph of Serena's performance in order to find where you were. Ash can talk to his Pokemon, and the Pokemon are characterized. This is not used as just a vanity. We're like, haha, OMG, Ash can talk to Mons. So good. And instead, it is used to carry on side plots, such as, well, Lucario being traumatized because Serena's Kirlia likes Ash's Lucario. And then she evolves into a Gardevoir and still likes Lucario. But Lucario, as a Riolu, Lucario's Lucario's father is a Lucario, and Lucario's mother is a Gardevoir. So Gardevoir gave birth somehow to a Riolu, and then a Ralt. So then Ralts evolves into Kirlia when Riolu is... Alright, basically all you need to know is that Kirlia is Kirlia when Riolu is Riolu. And then Riolu is super close to his sister. And then Kirlia evolves into Gardevoir and becomes a nymphomaniac almost immediately, to the point where she has an egg and doesn't know who the father of her egg is. So then when Serena's Kirlia develops a crush on Ash's Lucario is traumatized from his older sister, who's this nymphomaniac Gardevoir. He's traumatized from that and doesn't immediately warm up to her. This is what we call character building. It's world build. It's not too much. It's good. It's not too much. We have side plots such as the obvious one of Braixen, who evolves into Fox and Greninja being in love. And then we have the dynamic between Pikachu and Sylveon's two children. Those Eevees, we have their dynamic with the other Pokemon in Ash and Serena's group, like Fearow. Oh wait, I just remembered another plot hole. Hey, let's break off track for a second here. Tell me, why is it so bad for Serena to hold 7 Pokemon? Because she catches so many more Pokemon that eventually Pancham literally gets shafted and it just stops showing up. She catches that many Pokemon, and then it's bad for her to have Meloetta because she would be carrying 7 because she actually uses the 6 that she has on her, not including Pancham because he's just in the PC now. She actually uses the 6 that are on her, and so carrying around Meloetta, she can't have 6 because it's so bad apparently to have 7. Yet their group is like of 28 Pokemon. Like, Ash and Serena, whenever there's a chapter that starts or contains or ends with them camping out somewhere, it seems like they have so many Pokemon on them to have, like Totodile and Squirtle training together, and then Greninja swimming, and then Lapras. Actually, I don't even think Lapras appears. Let me take that back. And then Fearow and Eevee and Pikachu, and come on, dude. How does Ash have like 8 million Pokemon? But it's just such a sin for Serena to carry 7. It's one thing for like leagues to limit you to a certain number. And it's another thing to say that in your very AU that it's bad to have 6 Pokemon. I mean, more than 6. But then to give one character like 8 million and another character 7 and make it a secret. Yeah, it should be a secret that Serena has Meloetta for a while, but not for something like this. This story is adult enough to be different, but it's not like lemony. Like, yeah, it isn't actually. Like, just like the last fanfiction I reviewed, all the sex in this is implied, or it doesn't happen as a scene. It's kind of like if you took Game of Thrones, and in like the first episode, when Tyrion's brother comes in to, I can't play this clip because copyright. But Tyrion's brother comes in to the whorehouse, and he lets in more prostitutes to have sex with Tyrion, so that he'll tire himself out of sex quicker and then show up to the Stark's house for the party. I'll draw it out. You'll see. Anyways, it's not like that, but at the same time, it's not like ancient verse where it's, family friendly. It's adult at time. It doesn't hold back to what they say as much as Trist. However, it doesn't say as much as Trist, which sounds weird, but Trist has multiple sex scenes, and Alpha and Omega has like 0. It's just implied. For example, Tierno comes like super close to raping Serena and is overall just a really good villain because he's a really bad person. He's a good villain in the sense that he's just a bad person and we hate him. Not a good villain in the sense that he lived long enough to see himself become the villain from being a hero, or was turned into a villain from a traumatic experience. No, he just is a womanizer. And even though at the time he was supposed to be in a relationship with Shauna and would beg her to put out, even though he never took that relationship seriously and always looked at other girls, he was gonna rape Serena. All the Kalos queens prior to Palermo, because apparently Palermo's father was some sort of big lawyer businessman. So Palermo's father got that practice shut down. But all the Kalos queens prior to Palermo were forced to have sex with big businessmen. There's lots of talks of sex. Like, there's an ongoing joke that people will give Serena and Ash just a box of condoms because they're gonna have sex because they're boyfriend and girlfriend. Ha ha ha. To Miette admitting she and Paul take part in challenges provided to them by an app, and have even recorded it a few times. And while Serena then says, I would never record that stuff, Miette's like, yeah, but I do because, hey, that's what I like and everyone's different. It's all very okay, I wrote in the script it's all very interesting, and it's not my horniness saying that. It's not interesting, but it is different. It's not just sex funny. It's not just, okay, here's an in-depth description of how Ash and Serena performed Coyotes that night. It's more along the lines of, like, Family Guy. If Family Guy and American Dad had a love child, and then that child had a child with Pokemon, and then they had 2 children, and those children inbred. And then you get the adultness of ancient verse. I like the fact that the author isn't scared to go that far, but however, he or she, I know he, but you never know, someone might come out in the time that I make this video. He or she isn't going too far. It's not like a certain story that I like, Admire to Kill. However, it's not family friendly like ancient verse. More example of this story being adult outside of sex would be Red being kidnapped by Giovanni. Since before Ash has been born, Giovanni has had Red kidnapped. Ash met Column and immediately was jealous because Serena knew Column as a child and they were childhood friends, so he was immediately jealous. And I want to say, I saw a random comment on the Amour shipping subreddit that literally was the reason why I read this, because I decided, oh, Column isn't the villain? Finally, we're done generalizing him as the bad guy because he's the male protagonist from X, and there's X and Y Serena, and then there's the anime Serena. Haha, let's just make Colin the bad guy and instead make it someone else. And I was finally happy, and I just wanted to see what they did with Colin, and then I find out he's gay, and I laughed my ass off, dude. I did not see that coming. I said, oh my god, he's gay? This nigga gay? Okay, this nigga gay then, alright. Team Rocket in general, there's a lot of promiscuous descriptions of females, such as Shauna in that one chapter where Shauna, Trevor, Ash, and Serena go to the water park. And then this story has OCs, has a lot of new faces, but barely any of them contribute to the story without being overpowered. So what I mean is, we have a lot of original characters, but not all of them are like Blood Edge the Minion or Alex Bird, basically. A lot of them work for the story and are in a normal power scale. They're original characters in the sense that they literally are just original for the story and not like the other OCs that we meet, such as this one Lolly who is also participating in the gym challenge, or William's daughter who is also participating in the gym challenge and isn't much of a story character because she barely shows up. All you need to know here is that if an original character shows up more than like 5 times outside of when inevitably we get to the Torrent League, then they're a story character. To link the bond between Ash and Serena, I understand why Azazel did this, and I actually like it. Well, let's just say Ash's Pikachu and Serena's Sylveon disappear one night, and then 10 to 15 chapters later, Sylveon's eggs hatch. And it's 2 completely original dragon-type evolutions, that the male one's black and the female one is white. And since there's 2 of them, and they're both the same species, of course, Ash and Serena catch 1 of each, and they're born as normal Eevees. But this is what I mean by the Pokemon being characterized is a good thing. Sylveon and Pikachu are considering going to Ash to look up ways for Eevees to evolve without stone. Because as we all know in the anime, Pikachu does not like stone evolutions, and here he feels like it's too forced and that he would rather have them be able to evolve in a way they want to without having it to be a stone or a psychic duality. Doesn't make any sense, but at the same time it makes perfect sense. All characters that aren't Ash and Serena never overstay their welcome. You'll see returning characters from the anime, manga, and games such as Grindin, Mei, Arya, and Miette. They'll show up for a chapter, beat the villain of the day, and then leave. Alright, if I still have my comment, I'll leave this part in, but if I don't, I'm taking it out. Serena's character development, after the trauma of Tiana raping her, to her realizing that she's a psychic. I don't want to explain why she's traumatized, but I'll just say it's not because Tiana was gonna rape, at least for the most part. If you really want to get in depth to this, you'll have to read the story for yourself. Anyways, I had something different planned next time, but it was like a list of 5 stories I had, but I promised the author of a different fan fiction that I would read their thing next. So that's what's next. I'm not going to say what it is, but I'm just going to leave this part in so that the author knows their thing is next. Yeah, that's it.
君はね確かにあの時私のそばにいたいつだっていつだっていつだってすぐ横で笑っていたなくしても取り戻す君を I will never leave you
Battle, then I'll take it to the street where there's no rules. Take off the gloves, rip, please sit down. Gotta prove my skills, so get down. My lyrical depths are roll, battle smack down now. Gotta shoot to kill, I shoot to skill. Don't you be afraid, man's gotta do how it feels. 60, 70, 80, 9, 10. I flip the script to make it to the top 10. Go.
Kicking rock, I walk away from a sunrise room. Windless night, moonlight nights. My ghost will shadow.
First to my better shit, thoughts provoke the new era. Become a bit terror, but my only rival is my shadow. We run the play back and face my own error. Get low to the ground, it's getting better like I told you before. Double up a dead road cheddar. L to the J, say stay lace. Here's my car, B, roll a flush, and I'm the ace.